Hello guys, welcome to the first lesson of our course. I honestly don't know how long this is going to take. So before you go through this video, I want to strap in. Get your water, get your pen, get your notepad, because we're going to cover the basic premise of the course. Now, this is going to be one of the most important videos on the course because this is an introduction into essentially it's kind of like what's going on behind the veil. All right, that's the thought process when I was creating this, and I have structured this video intentionally because what I want to do is, because I know a bunch of you guys have gone through the institutional course already on YouTube, and honestly, for those of my students, because I've been doing this for years, for those of my students who've gone through the courses, I'm talking about ICT courses on YouTube, or they've been a part of the mentorship, they've gone about that the wrong way. And I want to use this course to kind of like correct their perception of price. And essentially explain my level of perception when it comes to price. And that starts with a change of belief and also a change of thought process. And I'm going to, by the end of this course, my objective is to switch up your thought process. So whenever you start to look at price, you're not looking at price from the perspective of patterns and candlesticks, just like everyone else, because that's what everyone else is doing. You're all doing patterns and candlesticks. I'm going to really explain institutional trading. And with the course, obviously this being the first video of the course, you're going to see a different side to what institutional trading actually is. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through all the different concepts and all the different ideas. And what I want you to do, just like we're going through the course, imagine you're going to school to become a doctor and you're spending years, you're going through each lesson and each course and each year, beating up your repertoire to become a doctor. Eventually you do your practice, and then you are eligible after years to practice to be the doctor. That's the same thing here with this. Okay, it's gonna take a couple months to get through all the content and fully digest the content, but I promise you, once you're done with the content and you're up on the live sessions, before I do something, you are going to know why I'm doing something. Okay, so the course is a guideline in restructuring your understanding of the markets. It all starts with this video. Alright, so welcome to lesson 1 of the first module of the course. And today we're going to talk about, market efficiency paradigm. That's the first lesson we're going to talk about, and this is going to be one of the most important lessons we're going to discuss because that will influence the trajectory of the entire course. Okay, so this sets the pace for the rest of the content. All right. Now, the first thing I want you to realize, you are a human and you see in front of your laptop or your computer or your desktop, and you're pressing a bunch of buttons and you're hoping that your actions by pressing those bunch of buttons will make you wealthy or will make you rich. The first thing to realize and the first thing for you to understand is that every single time you see on the chart and you are placing an order, you are essentially going into battle. That's what you're doing. Because you are, by action of pressing a button, you are now liquidity in the marketplace. Your entry on a position or on an execution, that becomes active liquidity. So you are now active liquidity. Now, there are two classes of liquidity in the marketplace. Now, if it's not on this diagram I just drew, there are two classes of liquidity in the marketplace. There is informed liquidity. And then there is uninformed liquidity. Okay, I'm writing notes down. We have informed liquidity, and then we also have uninformed liquidity. I think in lesson 3 of module 1, I'm going to talk more about that. I'm gonna go in depth on the concept of this. Okay, but this is more of an introduction to that concept. Okay, and this is going to help you start to view the market beyond candlesticks or whatever, because when I'm looking at price, I'm looking at price in terms of candlesticks. I don't care about candlesticks. That's what I've been trying to explain to you guys in the live session, and some of you guys have grasped the concept a little bit, but you don't so fully understand where I'm coming from. And these videos with the courses should hopefully help you guys set the tone and help you understand what I'm trying to explain. Okay, again, if you've never been exposed to institutional trading, this is also for you. This is fine. But it all starts with understanding who you are and what your position is in the marketplace. You need to understand your role in the marketplace. Okay? Every single time you put on a trade, you are going to fall under informed liquidity or uninformed liquidity. But by action of you putting on a trade, you are now liquidity in the marketplace. You've now been registered in an interbank pool or aggregator as liquidity. Now, that does not mean your broker is seeking your stops or the market makers are going for your stops. Your liquidity is too minuscule to even be of significance to your broker or the central banks or your liquidity provider or anyone else. Okay? So if you're getting stopped out, it's not because someone is actively going after your stops. That's a very false concept. Your liquidity is too small, okay, for anyone to even take into consideration of running out of your stops. Now, we have 2 classes of participants, regardless of the entity. If it's a corporation, if it's a bank, if it's a retail trader, they're always, at every given moment, you're always going to fall under informed liquidity or uninformed liquidity. Now, I like to call uninformed liquidity speculative money, not speculative asset. Alright, so I like to call uninformed liquidity speculative money. So what we're gonna do is we're going to create a new tab, and we're actually going to use this tab. Okay, so if you're wondering why I'm using a replay tool, I was journaling some price action from before, but we're going to pull up a very random asset. Let's do Mexican pesos. All right, and we'll get rid of this. Let's go and go like this. Let's remove all the drawings. And let's go in depth. Okay. Let's call you let's say your name is Jack. Trader Jack. You sold your dollar 5 lots and your stop is 10 pips. Trader Jack, market execution, Eurodollar shorts. 5 standard lots. Trader Jack executes Eurodollar shorts with 5 standard lots. The command is placed into his broker, and we're gonna call that B-book broker. So let's just call that B-book broker, who accepts his order in the marketplace. Excuse me. Okay, so he places a trade, market execution, Eurodollar shorts. B-book broker accepts the order. All right, and the price that Trader Jack is executing Eurodollar shorts on is being fed to the broker by a liquidity provider. Okay, a liquidity provider, which is a bank which feeds liquidity to other entities. Okay, so this liquidity provider also feeds price to smaller investment banks, smaller commercial banks, okay, for FX transactions. Now, this liquidity provider, oh, actually made a typo right here. The liquidity provider is being fed price by interbank price feed. Making the connection. So just hold on. Okay, it's gonna make sense. I promise you, it's gonna make sense. It might sound boring, but it's going to get interesting. Definitely. Just hold on. All right. We call this interbank pool, and price is being fed to the interbank pool by the source. Now the question is, what's the source? Now, here's the deal with this. Alright, so I'm going to make this larger in letter. This is the source. The source feeds price to the interbank pool. Liquidity provider collects price for the interbank pool and feeds that price to investment banks and also commercial banks, and also your big-book broker, who is feeding price to your MT4 in which you're placing an execution on. That's how it goes. Now, everyone to the left of this, okay, everyone to the left of this, they're all uninformed money. They're all uninformed money. The guys at JP Morgan, the guys at Goldman Sachs, they're all uninformed money. Now, they could be profitable, of course. I'm not saying they cannot be profitable, but they're all uninformed money because they don't control price. They don't move price. This is informed money, the source. Now, it might sound corny or it might sound bold when I say what you're learning is beyond this. It's beyond JP Morgan boys, or it's beyond the Goldman Sachs boys, or it's beyond your liquidity provider's knowledge. They don't know about this. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because years ago when I started out trading, and I don't want to segue a lot, but let me just give you a very short backstory into my own experience with trading. So when I started out trading, I was learning patterns, and I was learning trend lines, and I was learning EMAs or retests, and the trend line breaks and head and shoulders and double bottoms, and all those different classic retail textbook knowledge or information, right? And I was losing money just like everyone else. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, this does not make sense that a global market, okay, we're talking about euro dollar, you're dealing with the actual currency of European nations and also the United States. Does it make sense that it's going to move based off of trend lines, or based off of a bunch of lines, or based off of order blocks or fair value gap? Does it make sense? Think. Does it make sense? Do you think $1 trillion market is being priced due to your indicators, or it's being priced to your lines? That is a very bold assumption. That is an extremely bold assumption. Extremely bold assumption. Thinking that your lines are the ones moving the market, or your indicators are the ones moving the market, or your EMAs are the ones moving the market. That's absolutely false. And this is the false information everyone peddles in the marketplace. Everyone peddles this information, thinking it's their lines that moves price. And so they go into trading, forcing a narrative in price, instead of being reactive to market information, which is what you see me do on the live sessions. Again, this should set the tone for your approach to trading. And that's what I'm explaining here. So these people are so arrogant because they think their support, their resistance, that's what moves price. Their lines, that's what moves price. And one fun example I like to do is, let's go to a random chart. Alright, so this is no chart. Let's do this instead. Alright, I'm gonna go and let's pull up any random chart. Let's use USAMXN for example. Alright, very random chart. I've never traded before. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this all the way to the left, and I'm going to draw a bunch of lines. Oh, sorry, a bunch of lines. without even seeing price action. I'll go to daily time frame. And I'll also do the same thing too. Alright? It's a daily time frame. I'll zoom in a little bit, and then inside this daily candle, I'll draw a bunch of lines. A bunch of lines. A bunch of lines. A bunch of lines. Oh, sorry. A bunch of lines. Now let's go into lower time frame and see if the market respects any of those lines there. See? That's resistance. That's resistance. That's support. That's resistance. This is support. Alright, so let's get rid of all of this. Alright, so that's the main lines. A small area. So let's go back. That's support. Resistance. Look at this here. Look at this here. Again, these were all random lines I just pulled up without even knowing what the market did. And you can see how the market is reacting there. Do you think your support resistance lines is what is moving price? Do you think so? Think. Be logical. So what I want you to do here is I want you to remove any type of emotional response, or any preconception you have about price. Okay? And try to consider what I'm saying from a logical standpoint. It's not your models. I don't care what strategy you trade. Even if you're trading institutional, your models does not mean shit. Your patterns means nothing. The market is not being booked based off of your patterns. That is absolutely false. The market is not being booked because of your order blocks. It's not being booked because of breaker blocks. It's not being booked because of fair value gaps. The market is booked on the basis of transactions. This is the baseline understanding to what institution trading is. It's not the order blocks. It's not the breaker blocks. It's not the inefficiencies. It's not the fair value gaps. It's none of those different things. Okay, for some of you guys already have experience with these terms, which I will talk on the next video, but it's none of those terms. They're all simply ideas into framing what's going on behind the candlesticks. That's all they are. And you're going to see. Order blocks, it's just an idea. It's not really a hard-on level that the market will straight up into and sell off as a bear shutter block. Okay, so that's how you need to start viewing the marketplace. You need to start viewing the marketplace in terms of liquidity and transactions. Alright, let's go back to our diagram and let's continue this. Everyone to the left of this, they are all on in front money. The right is in front money. Now the question is, who is the source? And that is the central banks. They are the source. And our goal here, all the ideas we're going to communicate, all the concepts we're going to communicate, is to try to match as close as possible, as can be, to what the source is. Our goal is to try to mirror what the source is doing. That's the goal. So all the ideas and concepts, they're simply a means to convey what is going on behind the scenes, which everyone is not privy to, but we are conceptually. Now let's go into the next diagram. How is price fed? Price is fed from the central banks or the liquidity source into an interbank pool or aggregator. Now going back into when you started out trading, remember, trading is different from stocks because trading is decentralized. Okay, it's not like the stock market, which has a centralized exchange. The trading market or the forex market has a decentralized exchange, and that's what we call the interbank pool or the interbank aggregator. So now the question is, how are prices set? Prices are set by the central banks, who then feeds prices to the interbank pool or the aggregator, and then the banks, or what I like to call liquidity providers, they are fed the price from the interbank pool. This is the source. Everything below the source, that's on in front money. This is the source. That's our goal. The entire premise of the course, the entire premise of what we do in the live sessions, is to always, as much as possible, try to mirror what the source is doing constantly. The central banks makes the open, high, low, close of every candlestick because they set price. Price is 100% controlled. And the central banks are the storehouse of price. Money is nothing but perceived value. Just nothing tangible that we can associate with money, to money, except for what the central bank associates that with. Okay? Think. Your dollar notes means nothing the moment the US government comes out and says this is no longer legal tender. That note becomes worthless. Okay? Your money means nothing. Again, I want you to think about this. I want you to really consider this concept. That the only value the dollar note you're holding, the only value it has is the fact that people accept it as a form of payment. The moment people stop accepting it as a form of payment, it no longer has any value. It's no longer valid. So it's only eligible due to the government backing that piece of paper you call money or currency. That's the same thing with price on the foreign exchange market. It's worthless without the central banks. They assign value to the asset you're trading. So the central banks, because it sets the price, it is in control of price, and price is controlled. The markets are absolutely controlled. Market price is controlled by the banks, and it's a big lie if anyone says the market is still large for an entity to control price. I used to hear that when I started out trading, 2017 IML, and they'll say the foreign exchange market is too large because I think it was around like $6.1 trillion volume on a day-to-day basis, and the educators were like, "Oh, the foreign exchange market is too large for one entity to control." Well, it's not too large for the owner of the asset to control. Think, if you are trading euro versus US dollar, who is providing the price? Obviously, it is the Federal Reserve, and then the bank, the ECB, that's European Central Bank. They're the ones providing the price on euro dollar. That's what creates the liquidity. So price is being fed to that broker or price feed you're using. So be it FXCM, Wanda, or Pepperstone, or anyone else, price is being fed to those price feeds by the different central banks. They are the ones feeding price. If they are feeding price, don't you think they're absolutely in control of price? And so this is the epiphany I want you to come out of this lesson with. That the market is an absolutely rigged system. You are playing a game that is rigged. You're playing a game. When you start out the game, you're starting out the game at a disadvantage. Because once you get into this game, everyone is out to get your money. Everyone is out to get your liquidity. Remember the analogy I did before? Once you place your trade without understanding all of this, you automatically become liquidity. Now the question is, what category of liquidity are you going to fall under? Are you going to fall under uninformed liquidity, or are you going to fall under informed liquidity? The foreign exchange market is literally the biggest business there is. Just like every business, what's the number one goal? To make money, obviously, to book a profit. Don't you think so? So don't you think it's going to be in the interest of the central bank to book profits also off of the different market participants? Of course. Now, their main goal is to provide liquidity. They are the liquidity source. That is your function as the central bank, as the storehouse of the currency. But their secondary goal or aim is to book profits. Because every business, except if it's a non-profit business, they're in the business of making money. They're in the business of booking profits. So when you start out trading and you're blowing all those different accounts, you are just unfortunate to fall into the collective liquidity pool of uninformed money. That's all there is. So when I talk about liquidity pools and price, I'm talking about the collective pool of uninformed liquidity, who think double bottom is support, or double tops are resistance, or head and shoulders are short patterns, or a trend line test, that's a chance to go long. They're all uninformed money, and they come together collectively to create liquidity pool. So whenever I talk about this is the liquidity pool we're aiming for, I'm talking about that's the liquidity pool where uninformed money will have protective stops resting. Because again, the goal of price is to go and seek liquidity to facilitate profit for the liquidity source. That's these guys. That's the informed money. So this is an initiation. This lesson is to initiate you into the real deal. What's going on behind the scenes? That should be your entire goal throughout all watching all the lessons on the course. Your entire goal is trying to transcend candlesticks. Years ago, when I was in my friend's bedroom, and I would be crying because I was feeling at this, and I sucked really bad at this, right? And I was doing this myself, and there was no one for me to call on, and there was no one for me to go up to and ask questions and to resolve this. And I knew there was something to this. I knew there was something to what I was learning, but I needed to try to figure out how I could transcend beyond what everyone else was doing. That was my goal all along, was to just try to transcend what everyone else was doing. And there was a word that stuck with me. I'll never forget the word. I think it was September 26th, 2018. I was in the dining room of in our family house, and I was watching this video. By the way, you can't see me right now, but I'm closing my eyes trying to recreate that moment where everything all clicked for me. All right, it was about 5 years ago. I think 2018, 20, so that's 5 years ago. Yeah, September 26th. Right, it was an evening, and I was watching a video from ICT, and he said, there is a difference between what everyone thinks they know and what is actually going on. The concepts I'm teaching you, there are means to convey the truth behind the candlesticks. Because you see, everyone else is focused on the candlesticks, and you're focused on the lines, and they're focused on the indicators. They're focused on all the paint going on their screens. But all of the paint, it's all an illusion. Alright? They give you an illusion that you're in control. The candlesticks are all an illusion. The indicators are all an illusion. If you could grasp just 1% of what was going on behind every candlestick, behind the scenes, it would absolutely change your life. And that statement, years ago, fueled a fire in me that drove me into insane work ethic to try to grasp ever since I was sitting in front of the charts. What's going on behind the scenes? Who are the puppet masters? How can I play their game? Because every time before that moment, every time I placed a trade, I was a puppet. I was being orchestrated by the puppet masters. These guys here, these are the puppet masters. These are all puppets. Now, sometimes the puppets, they can make money. They can make tons of money. That's fine. But majority of the puppets, they're struggling. Majority of the puppets, you're losing money. The puppet master orchestrates everything. It's this guy here. He's the one. So, I knew if I wanted to get to a level which no one could fathom in this business, I needed to transcend the candlesticks and transcend all these different things everyone places value on. Market maker model, order blocks, fair value gaps, all those different things. All those things all along, they're just only a means to convey the narrative behind the candlesticks. And that is where you need to get to. That is the level you need to get to. If you can get to that level, I promise you, people will doubt that you can operate at that level. You're getting information that is prime, and you get to witness that on a day-to-day basis. You've seen me trade live for years, especially for those of you guys who've been with me for over a year. I've been doing this for years. You've seen the accuracy that no one in retail matches that level of consistency or accuracy. Where we're going months without a loss. And I'm streaming live, I'm trading live. Okay, you've seen every time we're executing, it's too precise. The delivery is too precise. And we're doing this consistently, week in, week out. This introduction, that is what leads you into that. When you start to see Darwin and you start to see 30-second execution and start to see the precision inside of a 30-second execution, you will start to understand what can be achieved with this level of mindset, with this level of thought. But you need to go through the motions. You need to put in the work. And your focus needs to start to be understanding what's going on behind every single candle. That's the goal. Now this wraps up the video on market efficiency paradigm. Alright, so that was a fun little video, and this is supposed to be an introduction into institutional reference points. So this is going to be titled Introduction into Institutional Reference Points 1. So let's see how long this is. I'm trying to make each video short. So this is an introduction, and what we're going to do next is we're going to go into listing the institutional reference points, and then on the next video I will then go into discussion on what each of those reference points are. Alright, so with price, we have what we call a price range. Okay. A price range is when the market makes a swing high down to a swing low, or a swing low down to a swing high. That's a price range. Actually, sorry. Let me switch over and use a better tool to annotate this. Alright? So this is a price swing. Characteristic of price action is the creation of price swings. Now, inside of a price swing, there's going to be what we call premium and discount. Now, what is premium and what is discount? Now, there's a separate lesson to discuss premium versus discount, but this is going to be an introduction into the topic. Alright? Now, imagine you wanted to purchase an iPhone. If you wanted to purchase an iPhone, and the iPhone was released today, but it's being retailed at $2,000 for the iPhone. Again, this is an example. Alright? So, new iPhone just dropped today. It's being retailed at $2,000 for an iPhone. But in 2 weeks' time, that $2,000 is going to rise up to $3,000 because it's being released in a limited edition. So there are only a few number of iPhone you can get. And once it comes out and people buy them, it's done. There's no more production of that iPhone, and it's done for. But a lot of people want the iPhone. So you know the iPhone's coming out today, and within 2 weeks' time, it's going to go to around like $3,000 because it's only coming out in limited numbers. Would you want to buy the iPhone now, or are you going to wait until 2 weeks' time to purchase the iPhone? Obviously, you're going to want to buy the iPhone now, right? Because it's cheaper now, and you know in the future it's going to increase in value due to its scarcity. That is the definition of discount. Okay? So let's define discount. Even though this is just an introductory video into institutional reference point, we have to define what discount is. Discount is the measurement in price. Okay, discount is the of the cheapness. Alright, that's the definition of discount. Discount simply is the measurement of the cheapness of an asset. Meaning, how cheap is this asset, right? So remember, when, let's say for example, you're like someone you follow on Instagram, for example, when you run discounts or like Black Friday sales, for example, right? So let's use Black Friday sales, for example. So when there's like discount offers on Black Friday sales, that just literally means you're getting the product at a cheaper price. That's what discount means in price, right? And then premium, obviously, just invert what the definition of discount, and premium is going to be defined as the measurement of the expensiveness of an asset. Okay, expensiveness. So discount is a measurement of cheapness of an asset, and premium is a measurement of the expensiveness of an asset. Now, with institutional reference point, we have discount arrays, okay, discount PD arrays, and premium PD arrays. Now, the way the algo is designed, the algo is designed to move into premium from discount PD arrays, and also move into discount from premium PD arrays. That's the market cycle. The market cycle is simply a gyration between premium versus discount. So when we define reference points, we're defining possible institutional levels that the market should deliver from into premium from discount, and then vice versa from premium into discount, or discount into premium. All right, so let's define the PD arrays. For premium, we have, and I'm going to label them based off of their position in a price range. All right, so in descending order, we have old highs, and then we have bearish rejection blocks, and then we have bearish order blocks, and then we have bearish fair value gaps, and then we have bearish, or let's label this bearish inefficiencies, okay? Bearish inefficiencies. All right, so inefficiencies simply covers fair value gaps, volume imbalances, sales side imbalance, bias, and efficiency. Again, if you're confused what all these terms mean, I'll go in depth on different video. I don't want this video to get too long, so I'm just outlining them, and then on the next video I'll continue from there and go in depth on each of the concepts. All right, so we have fair value gaps, we have volume balances, we have sales side imbalance, bias, and efficiencies, we have actual market gaps. So let's do market gaps. All right, and what else for bearish inefficiencies? Yeah, so that's all. And also bearish liquidity voids. And I think that wraps up bearish inefficiencies. And then we have bearish mitigation block, obviously. And finally, we have bearish breakers, or bearish breaker blocks. Let me also include BPRs here. Okay, BPR simply stands for balanced price ranges. Alright, so we have bearish mitigation blocks, we have bearish breaker blocks on the premium side of a range, of a price range, of a defined price range, not just any range, but a defined price range. This is what we have here. So as the market starts to move from discounting to premium, in order of positioning, meaning which is the closest to discount, it's oftentimes going to be the breaker block, bearish mitigation block, bearish inefficiencies, bearish order blocks, bearish rejection blocks, and old highs. So we're going to do it this way. All right. So this is going to be in order of proximity to discount. Let's align this in the middle. No. All right. So we're good. In order of proximity to discount. And then for discount PD arrays, it's just inverted. Right? So in order of proximity to premium arrays, it's gonna be bullish breakers, then bullish mitigation blocks, then also bullish inefficiencies, and bullish order blocks, then bullish rejection blocks, then old lows. All right, in order of proximity to premium. Here, that's in descending order of proximity to premium. So we're gonna label this in descending order of proximity to premium, and let's see if we can edit this in descending order of proximity to premium. So what we're gonna do in the next video is we're gonna go into detail on each of the concepts, all right, and how they relate to one another in a price range. So I don't want this video to be too long, and on the next lesson tomorrow, I'm going to go into detail on each of these concepts, and we're going to talk about them and define what they mean in context of a market maker delivery. Now, when I say market maker delivery, I'm talking about the central banks. All right, with that being said, I wish you guys all well, and I'll see you guys all on the next lesson. Be safe.